Hello again, NCAC sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of This Week in the NCAC. I'm your host, Brett Billhart. On this week's show, we'll take a look back at all the action from around the NCAC for the week ending on October the 3rd. To lead off this week's show, we'll take a look back at cross-country results from last weekend. All 7 Ohio-based NCAC squads competed at the highly competitive All-Ohio Championships at Cedarville. The event featured 47 Ohio institutions from all NCAA divisions and the NAIA. On the men's side, Ohio Wesleyan was the top NCAC squad in 17th place overall and second out of 22 Division III squads. Denison's D. Salucumbo, who is this week's NCAC Runner of the Week, was the league's top individual finisher, placing 6th overall and second among Division III runners in a time of 25 minutes and 18 seconds over the 8K course. In the women's race, Oberlin won the NCAA Division III title at the All-Ohio Championships for the first time in program history. The Yo Women's top individual finisher at the event was Molly Martorella in 26th place overall and third among Division III runners, after covering the 8K course in 18 minutes and 43 seconds. Kenyon's Jenna Willett garnered NCAC Runner of the Week laurels after placing 4th at the event among Division III runners in a personal best time of 18 minutes and 47 seconds on a 5K course. Wabash was also in action last weekend as the Little Giants finished 13th out of 20 teams in the Gold Division at the Notre Dame Invitational. The Little Giants also sent a team that included only sophomores and freshmen to the Earlham Invitational, only to see the squad come away with the victory at the 6-team event. DePaul and Wabash will continue competition this weekend at the Gibson Family Invitational in Terre Haute, Indiana, while Allegheny travels to Center Valley, PA for the Mid-East Pre-Regional Invitational. Action continued in volleyball arenas across the conference last week, with Wittenberg and DePaul extending their unblemished records to 6-0 and 5-0 respectively. The battle for first place in the standings is on the line this week, as Wittenberg and DePaul squared off in Springfield on Tuesday evening. Wittenberg reached 6-0 in conference play with a pair of straight-set victories over Ohio Wesleyan and Oberlin, while DePaul earned a straight-set decision over Worcester to reach the 5-win plateau. Allegheny picked up its first NCAC victory of the season as the Gators edged out Ohio Wesleyan 3-2. The Gators were led by this week's NCAC Player of the Week recipient, Maddie Hudak. Hudak recorded 85 assists, 22 digs, and 6 service aces in 11 total sets. Denison and Hiram kept pace with one another for the 3rd and 4th place slots in the league standings, as the Big Red earned a 3-0 triumph over Allegheny to up its NCAC record to 4-1, while Hiram improved to 4-2 in league play with a pair of straight-set victories over Oberlin and Kenyon. With the first half of the NCAC field hockey schedule drawing to a close, DePaul has jumped out to an early lead in the conference standings with a perfect 8-0 record. Worcester dropped a 4-0 decision to open play last week, but the Fighting Scots rebounded to defeat Oberlin 5-2 and Wittenberg 1-0 to move into sole possession of 3rd place in the league standings with a 5-2 record. The Scots got key offensive production from this week's NCAC Player of the Week honoree, Isabella Howes. Howes assisted on a pair of goals in the Scots' victory over Oberlin and drilled the only score of the game to lift Worcester over Witt. In other field hockey news, Denison did extend its record-setting start to 9 straight victories to open the season, but saw the streak snapped on Saturday as DePaul narrowly edged out the Big Red in overtime by a 3-2 margin. 6 league contests are on the docket for the coming week. However, league leader DePaul will be idle in conference games, with its only action of the week coming against Rhodes on Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky. We will now turn our attention to the Lynx, where numerous NCAC teams were in action last week. We'll first take a quick glance at the Rosecrans Mauer Invitational, hosted by Wittenberg at the Windy Knoll Golf Course, where 6 NCAC men's squads were in action. Wittenberg took home the team title at its own event with a two-day total of 572. The Tigers opened with a 290 and fired a single-round school record 282 on day 2. DePaul finished 4th at the event with 605 strokes. Ohio Wesleyan tied for 5th with a 609. Worcester placed 9th with 614. Denison was 10th with a 620. And Oberlin was 20th with 847 strokes. Wittenberg Jr. Craig Osterbrock took home NCAC Men's Golfer of the Week laurels after earning medalist honors at the event with a two-day total of 139. In addition, the Ohio Wesleyan and Wittenberg men's squads also competed at the Gordon Classic in Howey in the Hills, Florida. The Tigers placed 9th in the team standings with a three-round total of 922, while the Battling Bishops took 17th with 942 strokes. Two other NCAC men's golfers grabbed medalist honors at events last week, as Allegheny's Patrick Fritz shared the title at Gannon's Bud Elwell Fall Classic with a 36-hole career best score of 147, while Worcester's John Angelo took home the top prize at the Heidelberg Invitational after carding a 73. In women's action last week, DePaul captured the team trophy at the rain-shortened Allegheny Invite with a single-round total of 320. Allegheny took 3rd at its own event with 335 strokes, Wittenberg 4th with 342, Worcester 8th with a 402, and Ohio Wesleyan was 10th with 413 strokes. DePaul sophomore Abby Dickey, who is this week's NCAC Women's Golfer of the Week, was the top NCAC finisher at the Allegheny Invite with a 77. She did tie for first place, but lost a scorecard playoff for the medalist honor. DePaul also hosted a rain-shortened event last week as the DePaul Small College Classic was officially declared final last Sunday. DePaul finished 2nd in the team standings with a 320, Wittenberg was 5th with a 337, and Denison placed 7th with 369 strokes. The majority of NCAC men's and women's squads will wrap up the fall portion of their schedules this week. Football action last week was highlighted by Denison securing the Old Red Lantern from Worcester for the first time in 16 years, after the Big Red defeated the Fighting Scots 27-13. Big Red junior running back Sam Fioroni was named NCAC Offensive Player of the Week for the second time this season, after amassing 190 total yards of offense. He racked up 125 yards on 28 carries, and pulled down 3 receptions for 65 yards and 1 score. 16 of Fioroni's rushing attempts came in the 4th quarter to help Denison grind out the clock and secure the victory. Wittenberg improved to 3-0 in NCAC play with a 41-19 victory over Oberlin. Junior kicker Sean Williams set the Wittenberg school record for consecutive PATs, as he has now drilled 50 straight, stretching back to last season. On the year, Williams is a Tigers' second leading scorer with 46 points on 22 PAT attempts and 8 field goal conversions. The Tigers' defensive unit was led by sophomore Mark Swope, who accumulated 9 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception, and 1 pass breakup in the 22-point victory. He was awarded the NCAC Defensive Player of the Week recognition for his performance. Also of note on the gridiron last week was Allegheny suffering a heartbreaking 17-10 defeat against Case in front of a national audience, as the game was broadcast live on Fox College Sports with broadband coverage on ESPN3. The Gators led 10-9 with just over a minute left in the game, but fumbled deep in their own territory to set up the game-winning drive for the Spartans. While all 9 conference teams will be in action this Saturday, only one NCAC bout will be contested, as Allegheny travels to Kenyon for a 1 o'clock kickoff. And last but not least on this week's show, we'll break down some of the soccer action from across the conference. On the women's side, Kenyon jumped into a 3-way tie for first place in the league standings with Allegheny and DePaul, after the ladies captured a pair of NCAC victories. Kenyon opened the week with a 2-0 triumph over Worcester on Tuesday and concluded the week with a 3-1 victory over DePaul. Kenyan freshman Becca Romaine collected NCAC Player of the Week honors for the second time this season after being a part of all 5 Lady Goals on the week. She scored 1 goal and dished out an assist in the win over Worcester and tallied a hat trick in the victory over DePaul. Currently, Romaine leads the NCAC in both goals with 11 and points with 23. Allegheny also made its case as one of the premier women's squads in the conference last week, as the Gators earned a pair of 1-0 conference victories over Wittenberg and Denison. The victory over Wittenberg marked the Gators' first win over the Tigers since the 2003 season. We will continue to get a clearer picture on how the standings will shake out, as there are 5 conference contests on the slate this week. On the men's side, DePaul sits at the top of the league standings with a 3-0 league mark, while Ohio Wesleyan and Denison have each logged 2 conference Ws. Ohio Wesleyan and DePaul are both ranked in the top 25 in the nation on the D3Soccer.com Top 25 poll. OU, which has received 2 first-place votes in the most recent poll, is ranked 3rd, while DePaul is ranked 15th in the nation. The 2 squads will square off in a battle for first place on Saturday afternoon as the Battling Bishops travel to Greencastle for a 2:30 match. OU senior Travis Wall was named the NCAC Men's Soccer Player of the Week after scoring both goals in the Battling Bishops' 2-1 win over Case and netting the game winner and assisting on OU's 3rd and final goal in a 3-1 league victory over Hiram. Saturday's NCAC schedule will also include 4 other league matches that will help shape the conference standings in the coming week. Fans, we again thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to continually keeping you up to date on the most current NCAC highlights on our weekly installments of This Week in the NCAC. And as always, for up-to-date news, standings, and stats on your favorite NCAC squads, you can visit our website at www.northcoast.org.